Hello and welcome to match point for both teams. It's time for the final match between Facebook and Google. That is right. It looks like Facebook was so close to winning in game number 4, just inches away from having the appropriate defense. But Google managed to tie the series up, and now here we are on Tal Dareem Altar. We have the number 1 ranked player at Facebook, Ice Cream Boy, the dreaded Ice Cream Boy, in the bottom right. In the top left, we have none other than Nexus 1, who's known for his sneaky command centers, just hiding all over the map. But on Tal Dareem Altar, these watchtowers make it a little bit harder to sneak those SCVs around the map. We'll see if Nexus 1 has anything devious in store in this particular match. Keep in mind, Ice Cream Boy, well aware of what happened in the previous matches, will be scouting for that. Already throwing down a relatively early spawning pool, something we've seen popularized by none other than Destiny. And a lot of Zergs are also favoring getting down the very early spawning pool to deal with those early 2 barracks pressures. Now, one thing that I absolutely must keep in mind is that Ice Cream Boy is the kind of name that you kind of forget what it is after you've said it enough times. Ice Cream Boy, this is Ice Cream Boy. And then what happens is that you're in like a line at a McDonald's and you're bringing this fact up to your friend like, oh god, Ice Cream Boy is so good, I can never beat Ice Cream Boy. And then when that gets taken out of context, you have hilarity that ensues. Hopefully Nexus 1, though, can pull the win off and maybe make that dialogue at the McDonald's make more sense. Regardless, we see Ice Cream Boy stockpiling up plenty of cash. Looks like he's going to be throwing down an early gas. Nope, it's an extractor trick to allow him to build the Queen and the Zergling pair right away. In Camp Nexus 1, we do see the command center going down early, so it will be a fast expand for the Terran player. We haven't seen any gas geysers yet. We do see the 2 Marines popping out. The drone scout is going to be doing a little mining up at the top right location, and then we'll make a swift pass up to the top left. There's the drone from Ice Cream Boy. It has successfully achieved expanding at the natural expansion. The big area of concern for a Zerg player is this area right underneath the cliff. You can plant Marines to shoot the geysers, but worse off, you can plant tanks to hit everything. The hatch, the 4 north mineral patches, everything becomes an absolute terror once Siege Tanks gets planted there. By the same token, Zergs don't really have the best way to exploit this lower ground area. You can't really plant roaches down there and hope to do much. Nexus 1 now walling off his front, a style I saw popularized by Boxer, who is very creative with his building placement, walled off his front completely. There's a little space there where you can build a supply depot, and then you never have to worry about lifting your barracks incorrectly. You just raise and lower the depot. Zergling's going to try to sneak up, and it looks like one will get taken down. But oh no, the second one's going to get the chance to see everything. Ice Cream Boy's going to get a lot of useful information. He sees the expansion command center. He sees that both geysers are done. But note that they have only just finished. If we look at the remaining resources, that is very close to 2,500 at both of these refineries. Zergling still maintaining, it looks like a standoff situation with these Marines up in the north position. Marines still being made by Nexus 1. There's the supply depot planted there. There's a lift up and the immediate land just to stretch the legs a little bit to make sure the barracks doesn't get too stiff. We do see the tech lab now going down, so we can begin getting stim and all the other associated goodies. I really want to say associated, so I just will. Ice Cream Boy now planting down his second geyser. No tech yet. We see that Zergling speed has not yet begun, nor has a layer. Just Ice Cream Boy continuing to add on larva. With both of those queens going into big ol' macro mode. There now is the orbital command from Nexus 1 landing, getting ready to expand. Oh no, the Zergling sees everything again, and a 4th barracks going down by Nexus 1. This is actually quite an early 4th barracks. Traditionally, you'll see a player opt to build an early factory and then use 3 barracks worth of Marines and a little bit of tank in action. But no, it looks like our Terran buddy wants to be having a bigger army. He'll likely either push out a lot sooner or a lot later. You either need 3 tanks to do that push, or you need to have a bunch of Marines before Zerg has much up. Either way, it's going to be a non-standard timing from Nexus 1. Facebook's Ice Cream Boy now taking down the destructible rocks at his 3rd. Note that Google's Nexus 1 doesn't really have a good way to take down these destructible rocks. He cannot leave his base with these Marines because they don't have stim, they don't have combat shield. What if he leaves and gets overrun by a bunch of Zerglings? What if he lifts and Banelings just walk right in his front door? There's a lot of concerns for Terran. That's why Terran waits patiently and moves out with a big army of tanks. However, even when he is moving out, he can't take a detour for too long to kill this off. He needs to put pressure on Zerg. Zerg has an easier third base on this map. Terrans have a harder third base on this map. Terran could opt to take this vulnerable location as a third, but notice that I use the word vulnerable. It's quite scary time to take that North Expo. Double gas going down by Ice Cream Boy. We see that his lair has just now started. A Baneling Nest. Good timing on the Baneling Nest. It will be able to deal with any early push that Terran decides to hurl in his direction. Now Zerg is trying to position these Overlords up. It looks like this Overlord's going to try to make a little roost over here. Overlook that third. Pretty big Marine count. First tank getting started, though. If we look at the unit counting station, we see 48 drones from Ice Cream Boy. Almost done knocking down his destructible rocks, and more drones are coming. There is the drone getting ready to do some nibbling action himself, taking out the destructible rocksaurs. And meanwhile, this Marine count from Nexus 1 is continuing to skyrocket. We see the third geyser is done now for Nexus 1. Has not yet taken a fourth. Medevac popping out, and the Medevac is a huge key. Not just because it heals Marines, but also it's a flying unit, so when you plant it here, you can overlook the high ground in the main. We see that the lair has just now finished. Now, Ice Cream Boy does have 4 geysers up and running. He could be going for a relatively early Spire, and there's the Spire going down. And the scan, ooh, Ice Cream Boy gets some very anti-timing on that. I believe that the Terran did end up seeing the Spire. Yep, there's the scan going down. So the Terran sees absolutely everything. And oh, look at this. Ice Cream Boy's going to cancel the Spire. And he's going to be building an infestation pit. I don't know if I like this. It's definitely going to be a surprise for Nexus 1. The Google Terran is going to be anticipating some Mutalisks. Might plant down some extra missile turrets, but you're going to have a lot of Marines out, a lot of Zerglings out if you're going for Infestors. Mutalisks are good just because they can kill off the Medevac that's leaning up on this high ground, can manage the reinforcement. Mutalisks are always a great choice on this map, whether they can see it or not. But you need tons of Mutalisks, tons of Zerglings if you want to be able to stay alive with the Infestors. I mean, it's like in Heroes of Might and Magic 2. If there's Zounds peasants, you don't care. It's fine. Your main hero's a necromancer. He's going to raise those stuff from the dead, man. Hope you guys caught that reference, because, man, Zounds peasants, you got to do the exact same thing as your Ice Cream Boy. Zounds Zerglings. You need a throng of Zerglings. Lots and lots and lots of Zerglings. We do see the +1/+1 going down for Ice Cream Boy. This is going to boost his Zergling number, but 8 drones. This is starting to make me nervous. We see the Hive Tech coming up. Again, this Zergling Infestor style is becoming the Zerg strat du jour lately. There's the Medevac moving down, and without any Mutalisks and enough Infestors, he's going to have a hard time managing this. Drop at the natural expansion. Oh no, the Zerglings rush to the right to deal with this drop, but at the same time, the Zerglings have to pull right on back. Looks like Nexus 1 did manage to get the hot pickup in time. But there, the Medevac moving into the main. This little area is a great docking point for those Marines, but it looks like Nexus 1 actually now sees that there is an infestation pit instead of a Spire, so he's going to have a good sense of what's going on. We see a little bit of damage dealt by Nexus 1, but most importantly, there's a lot of lost mining time for Zerg. And now it looks like the Facebook Zerg rushing up. The Google Terran loses a Marine, abandoning it. And, oh, I don't think it matters too much, because look at the size of this push now, rushing down the middle of the map. Wow! 64 Marines on the map for Nexus 1. Zounds! Marines! Oh, that's so many Marines, and a lot of them are still floating around in those Medevacs. Only 1 tank, though. It does have siege mode, so this will be a very slow push, but a potent one nonetheless. And there's the siege up. The key locale on the map, and yeah, Zerglings and Banelings, it's almost nothing he can do. He's going to have to swing all the way around the top side. Beautiful positioning by Nexus 1, but again, how does Nexus 1 take a third base? Zerg knows nothing's there for the time being. And there we see more Marines unloading. Uh-oh, a couple get unloaded on the wrong side, but so many losses going down for Nexus 1. A big fungal growth. He needs to follow it up with a second one, or a Baneling. That works just as well. And there's another nice fungal. Actually, not getting quite as many. Oh, got to be careful with those Infestors. Needs to pull back. Oh, one splits in half in an icky pairing of Zerg Oatmeal. And there now, Ice Cream Boy morphing in a lot more Banelings. He's going to have to get plenty of units out. He has 5 Banelings, 17 more morphing. Uh-oh, a couple of Marines try to make a sprint down to the right position. Oh, Nexus 1 forcing a bunch of disorganization onto the Facebook Zerg. Can the Google Terran manage to take it all out in time? We're going to find out. And it looks like here's the big counterplay. Facebook Zerg, Ice Cream Boy now rushing up. Nexus 1 is losing a lot of Marines, but he still has so many on the field. 40 Marines still alive, 3 tanks, 6 medevacs, and there's the restim. Oh my god, a brilliant play by Nexus 1, just sprinting right up to the third, cutting in, and there goes down 1 queen, 2 queen, 3 queens, and all the drones rush up. They get split apart as well. Facebook Zerg's Ice Cream Boy just in a rough spot. Some infestors are out right now, but it's hard to control this much space. The second natural for Ice Cream Boy falls. Nexus 1 still sieging up the low ground. And just the endless train of units. In the main, we do see there's a command center going down. It looks like you might be expanding to this vulnerable third location. We see the armory's up, so we can begin +2/+2. Still no reactor on that starport. And it looks like the Zerg is finally trying to push back. Looks like he's going to get a little bit of a breather. Now overrunning everything, but more reinforcements from Nexus 1 just continue to stretch back. 19 kills on Captain Siege Tank, doing some big damage. Now Ice Cream Boy trying to set himself up to be in a good position. Doing his absolute best to be in a reasonable spot. Nexus 1 is just continuing to drop more and more units, just trying to catch Zerg out of position. There's the Ultralisk Cavern going down right now. Doing a little bit of damage. Very nice play there by Nexus 1. Trying to just draw more and more and more forces back. There is Ice Cream Boy now taking down some more larvae. Uh-oh, Queen going off, doing her own thing. Queen, you weren't told to do that. Oh, Sacrificial Queen. Tossing around limbs like a large piñata. And we see Ice Cream Boy trying to rebuild a critical number of Zerg. We see that Ice Cream Boy is about 10 food behind his opponent. It's not huge right now, but he is in a huge danger of losing this expansion. It looks like he is not going to be able to save it in time. One more hit. And oh, he doesn't even get the larva bonus. And another Queen. Queen, no one told you to do this. Oh, Queens. Rushing off doing their own thing. The fake Zerglings, the Broodlings, get taken down. And holy cow, look at this. Nexus 1 throwing down a ton of barracks. Doing a very big set of production facilities in the center there. We see the +2/+2 going down 9 barracks. The north expansion, though vulnerable, is going to have plenty of time to morph into a planetary fortress so long as... Ouch! Nexus 1 doesn't lose too many units. There's a nice fungal bringing all those units down into the orange, but no second fungal growth pops out. Ice Cream Boy still just waiting to get into position, and there are 2 Ultrals popping out right now. Ice Cream Boy's going to need to do some huge work with them. They don't have the level 3 carapace upgrades yet. And there they are, swinging down the ramp, overrunning everything. But wow, those Marines just taking huge damage. And the siege tanks dealing the damage from afar. Ow! Big fungal growth banelings going down. And it looks like Ice Cream Boy might be able to clean this up just barely. Ultra's trying to work its way through the Marines. And there are all the infested Terrans popping up now, trying to pick off the Marines. But man, Nexus 1, Commander Siege Tank with 32 kills. Finally falls, but the rally points from Blue. Nexus 1, the Google Terran, making Google look oh so good. Keep in mind, both these teams are 0-1 in the team standings. If Google can win this, they will finally give themselves a win on the map. But will the Facebook Zerg, who seems so good at crisis management, manage to pull back through? He's making more Ultralisks and Zerglings, getting the chitinous plating for the Ultralisks to give them that +2 armor. 6 infestors out right now. Second spine crawler getting thrown down, and a 4th base up for the Google Terran. This is the real problem when you're being this aggressive. You don't have opportunities to take good expansion locations. These destructible rocks still haven't had time to be taken down yet. More drones getting produced. We see these 6 infested Terrans are the only line of defense. All the medevacs scoot forward, and again, Nexus 1 just trying to shut down expansions for Zerg. Ice Cream Boy is taking the bottom right, but there are so many Marines still rallied forward. 54 Marines on the screen right now. Uh-oh, it looks like Nexus 1's gearing up for a big push. There's the stim, and he's going straight for the 3rd base. All the units caught on the wrong side. They're going to have to sprint to catch up. And it looks like Ice Cream Boy's going to lose another Queen. Has lost so many big fungal growths, blanketing absolutely everything. The Ultras trying to work their way in, and with that splash damage doing some big hurt, another fungal growth goes down. The medevacs cannot quite heal them up in time, but the Ultralists just can't get through to the Marines. And another big push at the front. Google Terran slipping around the front, and it looks like he is just now taking down another expansion and a huge extra swell of Marines, annihilating everything, and there's the good game. Google takes the win narrowly, 3-2. Congrats to Google for putting a win up on the map. If you're a Facebook fan, have no fear, though, because Facebook still has 5 more weeks of group stage action here at the After Hours Gaming League. Whatever you do, go to afterhoursgaming.tv for more matches, more info, and you can even read all the funny things that the teams have to say. For now, I'm Day 9. Thanks for tuning in. See you next week for some Week 3 action in the After Hours Gaming League.